11,848, 11,849, 11,850, 11,851, 11,852.
The Ernie Kovacs Show. And Edie Adams. Tonight's special guests, Stan Rubin and his Tigertown 5, and Dick Marta. With Henry Lasco, Al Kelly, Peter Hanley, Bill Wendell, and Barbara. And now here's the star of our show, Ernie Kovacs.
Where are we having the Step Brothers? When are we having? We don't need them. We don't need them. We have the Step Brothers coming on August the 27th. We're in a new theater tonight, so all of you watching at home who went down to the Century and didn't find us there, I don't know what they ran here before, but two of the cameramen fell off the runway and they were hurt badly. And so, there are little pieces of tassels caught in every door in the place. And all kind of stuff are running here. This is we've had a very, very hectic weekend. We had a very, very hectic weekend. Our children had camp, field day at their camp. And they're Comanches and Cherokees, and we have two daughters in camp, so to watch both of them, my wife and I have to split. She watches the swimming, aquacade, and I watch the arts and crafts. It's only one word. And when you're in camp, it's arts and crafts. At home, it's arts, and it took us 2 weeks to find out it was arts and crafts. Arts and crafts. We have arts and crafts today, Daddy. And they made a pin for my wife with Duco cement, and all the little pearls ran off. There. And, well, we had a ball anyway with them. So, now. All right, pass out the beer and everybody drink! We've got a wonderful house for this. They're all lying up there in the heat and drooling over the balconies and everything. How would you like to see Whip the Wristwatch?
Time to play with the Wristwatch with your host and MC, Bud, Saturday Evening Post.
I guess you're just as excited as I am to play Whip the Wristwatch, so Rocky, bring out our first couple!
Bud, I'd like for you to meet Mr. and Mrs. Albert Koznovsky.
Hello there, Mr. and Mrs. Koznovsky. You're Mrs. Koznovsky, I guess.
That's right, Bud.
And you, sir, must be Mr. Koznovsky.
That's right, Bud. I'm Mr. Koznovsky, and she's Mrs. Koznovsky.
Aren't they good sports, folks? How long have you been married, Mrs. Koznovsky?
7 years, Bud.
7 years. Isn't that wonderful? And how many children do you have, Mr. Koznovsky?
We've had 5 children in our 12 years of wedded bliss, Bud.
Say, aren't they good sports, folks? What are you doing here in New York?
Well, we're celebrating our 17th wedding anniversary with our only child, Newfie.
Wonderful, wonderful. What do you do for a living, Mrs. Koznovsky?
Why, I'm a sand hog.
And you, sir?
Housewife.
Well, now the moment has arrived to begin our game of Whip the Wristwatch. Are you familiar with our fun game, Mrs. Koznovsky?
Oh, yes, I am.
Aren't they good sports, folks? I said, aren't they good sports? Well, let's begin, Rocky. Please bring out the equipment. Here's the equipment, Mr. and Mrs. Koznovsky. Oh, by the way, are your children and friends watching tonight?
Well, we don't have any children, but some of our friends are watching. They never miss your program.
Wonderful. Now, here's what you do. You just put these blindfold on, and now you'll find that these 4 shot glasses are each filled with excellent Kentucky bourbon. Rocky will give each of you a straw, and when I give you the signal, you're going to see if you can drink up all the bourbon in all 4 glasses within the allotted time. But, of course, we have to blindfold each of you. And I need my little thing here. You got a little... it's over there. I'll need little extra things there. By golly, we have all the bourbon, and we need a little more bourbon. I don't think they've used the right kind of bourbon in the glasses. No.
Would you like to try, dear? No.
Here we are.
Oh.
Here we are. Now, I think you've got the idea all right. You've got the blindfolds on. It should be pretty easy. But just to make it a little bit harder, I'm going to shoot Mr. Kozlowski in the arm. Let's see just how much time we have. All right, you have 23 grains of sand to go. Go. Time's up. You didn't whip the wristwatch, but you do receive 25 pounds of window putty. Aren't they good sports, folks? All right, let's try our next stunt. Rocky, please bring it out. All right, now here's a little dowel with a little paper disc at the end, Mrs. Kozlowski. You take this and stick it in Mr. Kozlowski's mouth. Here we have some whipped cream. You're going to take this can of whipped cream, and when we tell you to go, you go. You're going to squirt at the round disc on the end. And if you hit the end of the disc accurately, you'll say, Mr. Kozlowski, and that's the cleaning bill. But if you miss, well, that's the way it goes. Now, we can't let Mr. Kozlowski help you, so he'll have to put on his mask. Now, if you're successful in not getting any whipped cream on Mr. Kozlowski, you will get a tank car full of mercurochrome. Wonderful for cuts and abrasions. Now back to our fun game. But just to make it a little bit harder, I'm going to shoot Mr. Kozlowski in the leg. There we go. Now, all right, let us set our wristwatch. Mr. Kozlowski, you have 17 grains of sand to go. Go. Time's out. You weren't successful in keeping the whipped cream off Mr. Kozlowski, so you don't win the tank car filled with mercurochrome. However, you do receive a quart jar of Black Widow spiders and an LP recording of the first act of Blow and Grin with all parts sung by Bobby Green. Aren't they good sports, folks? And now, for our third and last stunt, Mr. and Mrs. Kozlowski. You can take the blindfold off now, sir. Here's what we're going to do with this stunt, Mrs. Kozlowski. You stand over here. And yes, right there, my dear. And Rocky, bring out Kula. Thank you, Rocky. Mr. and Mrs. Kozlowski, this is Kula.
How do you do?
Kula, this is Mr. and Mrs. Kozlowski.
Go, Ma.
Good for you. Isn't he a good sport? All right. You stand right over here. Mrs. Kozlowski, you stand over there. And Mr. Kozlowski, you'll stand right over here. Anthony, up the devil. Now, how's that for a distance?
Kuma.
Goodbye. All right, now here, Mrs. Kozlowski, we have Mr. Kozlowski over there. Here what we're going to do. I'm going to ask you 3 questions about music. If you get all 3 parts right, you receive a beautiful embroidered pillow with a picture of the Empire State Building in 3 colors, and underneath it says New York City in letters which you can read in the dark. Oh. Now, if however you don't get all 3 parts correct, Kula will blow a poison dart into Mr. Kozlowski. You have your dart, Kula?
Kuma.
Good boy. All ready, Mrs. Kozlowski?
Oh, yes.
All ready, Kula?
Kuma.
All right, you have. Exact. Let's set our wristwatch. 10 grains of sand to go. Here we go, Mrs. Kozlowski. Name 3 composers whose last names begin with the letter B.
Beethoven.
Right.
Brahms.
Right. One more to go.
Hoagie Carmichael.
I'm sorry, Mr. Kozlowski, your time has expired, and so has Mr. Kozlowski. So the beautiful embroidered pillow goes into our jackpot for next week. What do you say, folks? Wasn't Mr. Kozlowski a good sport? However, we do have a consolation prize for you, an appendectomy for 2 in Austria. The prize must be collected within 24 hours, so it can't be counted. Yes, that's all right. Thank you very much. It's time now to say goodnight to Mrs. Kosnowski and all of you out there in our vast television audience. And remember, next time it may be your time to play Rip the Wristwatch. We're very proud this evening to have within our audience the distinguished philanthropist, R. Yancey Pellman. Mr. Pellman has done probably something that's never been done in the history of television. He is inviting the entire audience here and those of you within our listening range to a party at his tremendous private home here in Connecticut. May I bring on Mr. Pellman? Mr. Pellman, sir.
How do you do, sir?
I think this is probably just the greatest thing I've ever heard of. Mr. Pellman, could you just, inasmuch as some of you out there can come, can you tell us how to get to your place, please?
Very simply. For those of you who own a car, bus, or subway, be sure to get into it, take a side on the road which leads you to 17 on the Edberg back, right near the state. There you will find a road which takes you to a different, near the bridge.
Do you turn left there?
No. On the left you find a cop with that wouldn't be a state, we wouldn't take it. So you walk over, and there will be a policeman which has a stop sign. Don't stop. Go ahead because he has a train. Now there you will notice the bridge, which you do not have to cross because the tunnel underneath takes you to a different road where I have a train.
Thank you very much, Mr.
I am very happy to be. I hope all of you will come to visit me in the train where I have to be there.
We certainly will, and should be there. In 1580, Shakespeare wrote his Merry Wives of Windsor. Something came from the Merry Wives of Windsor, and I think it has retained something today and which has become even stronger. Just for one quick word, we have 5 harpists going to play an accompaniment for Edie Adams with Harry Sosnick of the orchestra, and they're the only 5 male harpists in New York City, and we finally got them all together in time for the broadcast. Edie Adams, Greensleeves. Very rarely in a show does one musical number follow another. However, because of the television scoop that we have made this evening, we are going to bring our guest on immediately. I feel that I can say with complete assurance that this is the first time that the great European virtuoso, Wilhelm Schoenmann, has ever played before the public in this country. I can also say that I honestly believe this to be the first time the American television audience has ever seen a pianist of Mr. Schoenmann's caliber play the first movement of Tchaikovsky's B-flat concerto with his right hand while holding a cup of hot tea in his left. Wilhelm Schoenmann.
Lovers. I know you're enjoying tonight's Western, Buck O'Malley and the Mysterious Heifer, just as much as we are. And I'd like to take this time to thank you for the many calls we've received since we did our last commercial 30 seconds ago. We're selling aluminum storm doors like crazy, thanks to you out there. But right now, I'd like to talk to you ladies for a moment. Have you ever noticed how dingy, dull, and dirty-looking your floors can be? Well, here's the answer to those dingy, dull, and dirty-looking floors. A good all-round mop. When you look at those dirty footprints and scuff marks all over the floor, just take your mop like this and sort of swirl it around like this. You sort of put it back together like this. Very handy little attachment. Anyway, you sort of slosh it around like this. You can see how quickly and neatly it does the job. And now, let me show you some of the wonderful attachments that come with your mop. Right here is a little horn that you can fasten to the end of your mop. When the kitchen is a little extra busy with extra folks standing around, you just squeeze the horn like this. And they'll jump hop right out of the way. And here's a charming little calendar to hang on your mop so that you'll know exactly what day it is while you're working. And also, this handy and exciting little attachment. This is a little music stand to which you can fasten your mop, which will hold sheets of popular music so you can rock while you mop. And also, for you folks who are watching this program from the North Pole, where you have those long, long nights, but still mopping must be done, right here is a sealed beam headlight fastened. Now, the cost of your mop, just a few pennies down. And if you'd like to place your order, just write to Mop. That's Mop, Philadelphia, Wisconsin. And many of you that have hated the old-fashioned way of wringing out the mop will be happy to learn about this new handy attachment we're offering tonight. It has a very unique arrangement in that you simply firmly put the mop back on the handle and then you wring out the mop with the top. And now, for the first few hundred who call, here is our exciting bonus offer.
I'm straight. Once again, we bring you that exciting bonus offer of Lady Flatbush dinnerware and Simulato silverware. Let me show you the 4 beautiful complete place settings that you will receive, including Simulato silverware. For this time, and this time only, the sponsors of this program are making it possible for you, the public, to avail themselves of the fine craftsmanship of Lady Flatbush and Simulato. Were the settings each perfect or perhaps similarly matched, this dinner array would cost many hundreds of precious dollars. However, because of the slight imperfections and casual mismatching of pieces, Lady Flatbush and Simulato are able to make this offer at a fraction of the original price. At your next formal dinner, you'll notice Mrs. Jones poke Mrs. Brown with envy, and why not? For you are serving the finest and boneless china and the finest of all simulated silver by Simulato. Each place setting exact and perfect in detail, for Lady Flatbush has captured the intricate, subtle workmanship of true craftsmen. And now let me show you the additional values you get when you order your mop for a few pennies down. For the first few hundred who call, you will receive this beautiful, all-imported linen tablecloth from Bucharest, and this marshmallow sundae with a domestic maraschino cherry on top. Now, I know that you're all anxious. The cherry seems to have slipped to the bottom. I know you're all anxious to call right now to place your order for a mop, so pick up your telephone and call the number nearest you.
And now back to our exciting Western, Buck O'Malley and the Mysterious Heifer.
These are the sticks of a timbalom. This is a Hungarian instrument. These are the strings of the timbalom. And this is the man, probably one of the world's greatest players, Dick Marta, with his Romanian fantasy.
trend in the movies is the science fiction film, stories of space pioneers exploring other planets. The success of this type picture has inspired many movie companies to produce films dealing with outer space. Unfortunately, some of the companies must operate on a very low budget. Well, here now is a science fiction movie as it would be done by a movie company which had to produce the picture on a very low budget.
This is the story of Captain Bart Plumas, a man of imagination who was possessed with the idea of conquering space. This is Spaceport 1143A. In a moment, Bart Plumas will take off from this location for the planet Mars. And this is spaceship XMZ-4, which will carry Bart into outer space. The XMZ-4 would use Bart's special fuel for the trip, a sensitive mixture of kerosene and cough syrup. Bart's fiancée, the beautiful Dr. Clara Northrup, is aboard with Bart, ready to blast off. However, there is much opposition to the flight. Even now, the sheriff has driven up to stop the takeoff.
This is Sheriff Tom Gridley, Bart. I have a court order forbidding this takeoff.
Get off my ladder, Sheriff. You can serve your summons when we come back from the planet Mars. Set rocket engine B up 4 hemispheres, Navigator.
Aye, aye, Bart.
All right, 5, 4, 3. Just a minute. How's the gyro integrator?
Looks all right to me, Bart.
And the hyposynthesizer?
I've never seen it in better shape.
I guess we're all set then.
Yeah, Roger.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Roger.
And through the black starry vastness that is infinite space goes the XMZ-4. The ship sails on past the Earth's orbit and into the dangerous asteroid belt.
Oh, Bart, look out of the rocket port. A dangerous asteroid is slipping down on us. Oh. Push it away, Bart, quick, before it smashes us to smithereens. Now, on to the planet Mars. There it is, Bart. I believe I see it.
Oh, yes. I believe you're right, Clara. Let's land the XMZ-4 near that crater. We'll call the crater Clara Northup Crater, after your father.
Oh, thanks, Bart. That's decent of you.
All right, let's land. All right, Clara, the planet seems to be uninhabited.
Are there any people on it? I'm coming down, Bart. So this is Mars. How about that?
Yes, my dear. We're the first Earth people to land on Mars. Hark! What's that strange sound? Me, Captain Bart. She named Clara Northrop.
Me fiancé.
Who you name be? What is wrong, little friend?
I believe I understand the language, Bart. He says you're standing on his foot.
Oh, sorry, little friend. Clara, here come two more. It looks like this chief and some sort of secretary.
What does it say, Bart? What does it say?
I am your friend. I will help you. I speak English.
Oh, Bart, is that just keen?
Great. What'd he say?
By
Gaffney, we won't leave until I file my report. I think he's angry.
What was that, Bart? A volcano? Oh, yes, Bart, look.
Yes, by Gaffney. And it looks like it's about to erupt.
The chief looks rather angry, Bart. I think you better shoot him with your ray gun.
Missed.
Oh, Bart.
Wait, I read someplace that if you sprinkle water on Martians, they melt. If we only had some water.
Oh, here, Bart. Luckily, I brought along a canteen of water.
Great.
Oh, here, Bart. Oh, Bart, hurry. Throw it on him before he... Melt him.
Clara! They're not Martians, they're Venetians! We're doomed!
Well, do something.
I closed them up.
Bart, look, we're saved anyway. The volcano is erupting. They won't be able to kill us after all.
Yes, we're saved, Clara! Thank heavens the volcano will destroy this cursed planet and everybody on it!
Everybody, Bart?
Yes, Clara, everybody! We're always excited by the dances we try to bring you on this program. Tonight, Bob Hamilton and his troupe will do the story of a Frenchman who invents a youth machine. He has an old wife, but he falls in love with his French maid. In order to pursue his romance, he becomes young. When his wife comes old, he changes. And finally, in the end, well, there's a surprise finish. This is where the wife gets the last laugh in the youth machine. Doyle's heel broke. Stan Rubin is the gentleman who has 5 students who graduated from Princeton University, formed a great outfit called the Tigertown 5. They were the ones that were at the Monaco wedding. And they have an album out with Monaco music, or music from Monaco. And here they are, Stan Rubin and his Tigertown 5.
Guten Tag, meine Frauses und Herr Katzen. Das ist ein Zusatzdiskjockey Wolfgang von Sauerbraten. Das alles nach Reckenspinner mit der großen Hit-Tune, der Bebop, der Cha-Cha und alles der Hepkatzenstoff, oder? Also mit Waltzes für die Squares. Aber bevor ich gemecken mit der harten Liebesstoß, Hier ist eine komische Story, die ich just gehört. Der zwei Bebopper, das erste Bebopper, ich spreche zu das zwei Bebopper. Heinrich, tellen Sie mir, wo was der Liebchen, ich was sing du mit der Orenei? Und das zwei Bebopper, ich spreche zu das erste Bebopper. Das ist nicht Liebchen, das ist meine Frau. No, you lose so much in the translation. Aber hier ist eine Poststückkarte. Mein lieber Wolfgang, du ist cool, Herr, cool. We is just nuts about the records du is all the time playing. Please playing Sie the new hit, geständig auf der Corner watching alles the Fräuleins goose stepping by. Wie lieber du sein Fritz, Johanne, Gerda, Kurt, Sieger, Wilhelm, Bertha, Pedro und all the Frauen und Frauen, die Luigi's Brauch hat. Ich haben Sie eine Recording, standing off the corner, watching all the goose steppings going by with Harry Sosnick und die Sosnick Boomlers. Nein? Katzen, geben Sie mir die strictest attention. From the sponsor kommen Sie eine important message. You listen good, Wolfgang, get the axe, you know? Friends, du darfst gebrochene Tooth mit Schnitzelden. Schnitzelden ist der Fiener Toothpaste. Wenn du usen das Schnitzelden, der Tooth ist alles sparkling weiß. Listen Sie mir asking eine question. How many times in a day du gebrochen Sie die Tooth?
Ich gebruchen Sie mein Tooth 2 times a day.
Ich gebruchen Sie mein Tooth 4 times a day.
Ich gebruchen Sie mein Tooth 700 times a day.
Jawohl, Freund. Du gebruchen Sie die Tooth 2 times a day, 4 times a day, oder du gebruchen Sie die Tooth 700 times a day, usen Sie Schnitzelden. Hören du, was hier der Großmeier spricht?
Freund, du dir gehaben, crummy-looking Toots. Du das Fräulein Schnicker und Giggle, wenn du schmeilen. Du gegeben alles day ein Ecken und Krakeln und Gehämmern inside the mouth. Du know, was du haben sie? Du haben sie sehr ducken mighty spritzig. It's just so bad I couldn't even translate it. Looken Sie auf diesen Mann. Hier ist eine klare Meatburger mit all der Schnitzeldent. Und hier ist die same Meatburger mit der Schnitzeldent. So, if you ain't making the time mit der Fräulein, ja buchen Sie der Tuts mit Schnitzeldent.
Danke, Herr Großmeier.
Nothing.
Und one other thing, friends. Here is invisible shield. Das ist like the invisible shield in Schnitzeldent, das protecten Sie der Toots. Hilda? Der Schnitzeldent protecten Sie der Toots. Like this invisible shield is protecting Sie du mir from that bucket of Wasser. So. Wenn du bei der Toothpaste, making sure du getting Sie der Toothpaste mit dem invisible shield. Could I have eine word to do, Hilda?
I'm Johanna. Eine weiche Johanna, das heißt Nachbar.
We want to welcome Niles Trammell, former president and chairman of the board of NBC, and his new television station, WCKT-TV, in Miami, Florida. It's the NBC network that's taking our show tonight. We hope you liked it there. And next week, we're going to have Roger Williams, the gentleman who did all those wonderful things with the piano, falling leaves and autumn leaves and all kind of leaves. Lena, the queen of the jungle. Scotney, the reporter from Hollywood. Let's take a trip. Edie Adams will be with us, of course. Bob Hamilton, Henry Lasco, Al Kelly. Barbara, and Pete Handley. And